Welcome to the Beefy Boys Breakdown. It's episode 151 of the Breakdown. We're going over UFC 294. We're going to be going over the main card tonight and the prelims tomorrow. We're one of the only shows out there that go over every single fight on every single card. And that's why you should fuck with the Beefy Boys instead of them other weak-ass pods. But, yeah, man, we've been at it for 151 episodes in a row. And just we've got to, witness this whole evolution of, what's now the current generation, but when we started the pod, a lot of these guys were up and comers. Khamzat's career kind of coincided with the start of the pod.
Absolutely.
And the whole pandemic era. And now these guys are in number one contenders matches and man, it's just cool to see it kind of all come to fruition.
Even Islam was unranked when the podcast started. So I mean, when the podcast started, it was Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson fighting for the interim lightweight belt right after Khabib had quit. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
right before.
Yeah, the interim belt. Well, and then Khabib Gaethje was one of the earlier episodes of the pod era for
That's
sure.
Right.
Yeah, man. So we come full circle. Back then, Makhachev Volkanovski would have seemed like some weird pipe dream, and here we are watching Makhachev Volkanovski 2. How this whole card came together on short notice. We had Paulo Costa with the staph infection in his elbow.
Definitely real, by the way. I see a lot of haters on the internet saying that he should have fought. He had massive holes in his elbow and tried to get the whole thing cut out of his arm. Looked like he had 2 gnarly surgeries to get that done to even be there in person.
I think one of his surgeries took place in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Paulo's a dog, and we'll get to it, but I'm still very intrigued in that matchup based off what we saw. Quite frankly,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to the prelims tomorrow, which I'm actually really stoked for because a ton of our favorite, or even if not favorites, not the right word, but just guys that we've been high on for a while that are starting to get their just due. Prelims littered with those type of guys, but
well, not to mention
we're dive deep in here.
Lost you there for just a quick second. We're going to dive into it. I was just saying that it seems like our rankings are proven very, in the fights we said, we have these guys very close, this should be a good fight, but Vegas didn't want to respect the money line. I feel like we were right on with a lot of those, man. Victor, we'll get to it tomorrow, of course, but Victor Henry, for instance, I think Vegas didn't expect much from him, and we did, and I think we looked good on that. Looks like Dom has fully frozen. So there he is. So
Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah, did you hear what I was saying about our whole rankings?
I heard you the whole time.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, I heard you the whole time. Yeah, man. Man. Makhachev Volkanovski 2, bro. This is a dream fight, a fantasy fight, a super fight, if you will. And we're getting it for the second time in 6 months, man? We thought we were going to have to wait a little longer for this to happen in October.
Yeah, I guess the only problem with it, it is the dream fight, the super fight, the big deal. It just, the one condition that makes it slightly off is that it is on such short notice for Volk. Granted, not his weight class, so the weight cut you have to consider or think would be a little easier for him to get there, so it's not quite as much of a draw on him. For instance, they asked Gaethje if he wanted to take it beforehand. Gaethje was at 187 the day they asked him, so he was like, there's no way I'm going to make that weight. And I also think good for Gaethje, because honestly, he should get it. Everyone needs a full camp to fight Islam. I'm just going to say it outright. If you're not getting a full camp to fight Islam, you're probably making a mistake. That being said, Volk is probably the one guy that could get it done in this circumstance. So yeah, still a great sell. And I've heard some speculation that because it's the Abu Dhabi card, they essentially had to replace the 2 Fallout fighters with huge names because they guarantee a certain level of fight for those guys in Abu Dhabi when they show up. So it sounds like Volk and Usman got the bag to show up.
Yeah. I heard those same rumors, and that does make a lot of sense. It's kind of like an appointment thing once a year in Abu Dhabi at this point.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, so you're right. Volk is the one guy.
Oh, sorry, I lost you there for just a sec. I was just going to say that it's always October.
Even too tall. Hey, bro, I'm going to leave and come back.
All right, sounds good. I'll introduce the fight. So, Islam comes into this fight less of a favorite than the last time. I think just a lot of respect for him, or respect for Volk, I should say. Islam's still minus 270 on the DraftKings line, Volk plus 220, which I think he was plus 310 the last time. So, I mean, you're talking about more belief in Volk with less of a camp. I'll be honest, as far as the money line goes and the way I have these guys ranked and the way I felt about them, it was a no bet for me, but smart money was on Volk. I didn't think Islam could get the finish. I haven't seen Volkanovski get finished. So I thought that was off the table. Islam by decision felt pretty good. There was pretty good value on it. Looks like we're getting Dom back in it. What up? I was just talking about the odds here and how the value, I felt like if you were going to place a bet, it had to have just been, like if you're just going to pick a winner, Volk was the only way to get value here that was worth it because I thought they were so close in skill and the last fight was so close. But then again, I mean, you think on a short camp, you know, if he's not quite ready as much as last time, can he survive all 5 rounds?
All week and all leading up to this one, I was everybody kept saying like, "Oh, Volk did this and that line." But not, I'm a Volk fan, but like, I just kept saying like, what if Volk like gave his? Everybody was talking about that angle. Everybody was going, what if that was Volk's best shot and it's the Volk fan?
Yeah, no, I know. Volk this whole week leading up to it though did sound like he was almost aware that the fight probably wasn't going to go 5 rounds because I mean he kept saying like I'm going to push for a finish. I want to finish this guy. I don't normally hear him talk that boastfully about a finish in a big time fight. You know, that's not normally the way he's pressuring it. And I mean we can go ahead and get into the fight because I think the post fight comments are interesting from both guys as well.
Yeah, man, and I mean this fight only lasts 3 minutes and 6 seconds. I don't believe we've ever seen Volk get knocked out before. So
no, that was what I was saying when you were reconnecting was that, you know, the smart money here was probably Islam by a decision simply because that's the only way you're going to get valuable, like good odds on Islam, and you've never seen Volk get finished, so why would you ever think that he would?
Yes, and that was actually my exact verdict pick was Islam by decision.
It feels like that's the smart move, right? Like from a betting standpoint, and I mean, hell, we watch all the fights, right? Like we're not uneducated fight bettors, obviously. So yeah, I mean, just the way I saw it playing out was that Volk is going to do enough to survive, and I didn't think Islam could land that mega shot on the feet. I just didn't see that coming. Now, Felder was making great calls the whole night. I don't know if you noticed how like in the zone Felder was with the reads. He was making reads like he's in a fight camp. Like he was reading dudes in the octagon.
Bro, we've been high on Felder. I'm so glad he's getting these high-level pay-per-views now. I think, was it 2 or 3 years ago on our Beefy Boys Prime Cuts when Felder was just getting introduced to the commentary booth. We gave him our commentator of the year. We've been high on Felder. He's well credentialed. He's the man, bro. I love having Felder, and he's the one guy that seems to work well with DC.
Right.
DC and
So
Joe
good with DC.
Like they chode around too much. DC and Bisping don't necessarily like play well with others. Felder and DC is like, I'll take it every time, man. He actually manages to kind of keep DC in check, but still keep it fun. I don't know, bro. Him and DC were great together.
I think Felder Bisping's really good too, because Felder's really good at like throwing small little funny like responses in, but also getting right back into the fight and almost checking the funny level of the other guy. Like yeah, bro, that's great, haha. Back to the fight though, because we are commentating a fight here.
It's not a podcast, bro. DC gets in the fucking DC and RC world too much, which I probably would too if I was commentating a fight. It's probably hard not to, but like he does, like yeah, Felder does a great job of delineating between like, hey, this isn't a post-fight show, this isn't a fight companion. We're doing color commentary here, like play-by-play in football or basketball. And yeah, no, you're right, man. He does a great job of kind of keeping the train on the rails.
Well, and to that point about Felder, he made that read on the first left high kick that Islam threw. He said he had success with that in the first fight, and he was saying that Volkanovski better have learned or better have like seen that in film and realized like that left kick is going to be a weapon as Islam goes to this fight.
Yeah, bro, and I'll be real. I'm obviously not as high level on the broadcast as Felder, but like even my untrained eye was like, man, there is no answer, because he was going to the body, right? He was going to the leg, getting checked. Shit. He was like,
yeah, it's like for Volk, it almost looked like he was trying to like walk into the fire, get inside, and fighting close and try to go for the big finish like he was talking about. And I mean, even when Makhachev tried to get the takedown on him at the very start, it was hilarious because Volk immediately sprawled. Was like, got him up against the fence, got his back press, then turned it and was controlling most of the position there on the fence. So it seemed like as far as the grappling goes, he was all day going to be able to handle the grappling. It was just Makhachev came with a better striking approach.
I'll push back a little bit on that, bro. Some of those clinch engagements, Makhachev looked too strong.
But he was landing...
With just overall strength?
Yeah, true. Like, the posture control was crazy.
Bro, like... Yeah, he was big.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
I'm sorry, folks at home. I swear to God, I'm going to get Wi-Fi in like 2 weeks. But yeah, man, Makhachev was in all those clinch situations against the cage. Makhachev looked bigger. He looked stronger. He looked like the guy that was the weight class above, straight up.
Yeah, and I think that was true from the first fight. But yeah, I think getting into the post fight, Makhachev made a good point. Like, hey, I've fought this guy twice now. He's a featherweight. Like, let me start fighting the lightweights. Let me like prove that I'm better than all these guys, which I like.
Let's get to the finish real quick.
Oh yeah,
all that.
Yeah, left high kick. But yeah, so he sets up the whole fight, abusing him with left kicks, and Volk essentially had the hand ready to block, and I don't know why his defense to the left high kick is to lean in and duck, but it's almost like he's using the glove to almost try to deflect it over his head. But he was holding his glove like chin level instead of head level. And so when it did catch his glove first, it immediately ricocheted right onto his temple.
And we're coming with a real hardcore take here, man. No, seriously, I mean, I'll be real. I wasn't really watching MMA every single card back then, but I have seen the highlights. Crow Cop-esque, right? The Crow Cop.
Just a duster.
Top of the noggin,
yeah, just a duster. Just dusts off the top and they just drop.
Bro, it was literally the Crow Cop kick, bro. Like, seriously, I mean, I said I've done my research. I've done my history, my highlight watching, bro. It was the Crow Cop kick. Dana alluded to it. Because you're right. Volk was protecting the chin, but there's not – and to Volk's credit, like, There's not really a defense for the top of your noggin, you
You
know?
gotta lower your level. You gotta duck if they're gonna throw a kick that high. You gotta duck. And for Volk, unfortunately, he's short, so getting that kick up when you're Makhachev, who's 6 foot, not that hard.
Yeah, no, you're right, man.
It's like if you think about the Cedriquez Dumas fight, or even the Johnny Walker fight. We'll get to it. It's a perfect example of it. Ankalaev is going to struggle to head kick him because Johnny Walker's 6'7". Like, you know how hard it is to get your leg up that much higher and maintain your balance and effectively deliver power. Like, it's I guess a built-in physical advantage in height that you're going to have defense against kicks.
Let me ask you this, bro. Real time. I thought it was an early stoppage.
Oh no, I liked it just because I saw his head like bobble against the fence.
In slow mo, perfect stoppage, but real time, it seemed a little quick because the thing is, Volk was not intelligently defending.
No.
I think I give Volk so much benefit of the doubt.
I do too. I agree with you on that. But also, if you notice, Makhachev drops him, immediately catches his Volk's left wrist, and just is feeding him punches because he knows that Volk is going to have to try to posture to get up with his free hand. And so it's just open face shots.
Yeah, Volk literally defended 0 of those shots. He wasn't doing shit but eating shots. Like I said, it was this weird juxtaposition where, like, real time, I thought it was quick. Slow mo replay, it was perfect. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
perfect.
Yeah,
So for Islam, what do you want to see next? I think Gaethje is my vote.
has to be Gagey. Now Dana fucking said it has to be Oliveira.
I don't know what the obsession with Oliveira getting the shot is, man. Like, are they reading the Twitter bots too much? Like, dude has bots for sure.
The first Oliveira fucking Makhachev fight sucked. It was not competitive, bro. And then you got like there's.
I'm on the Chael conspiracy where Oliveira just does not want this fight right now. Like, he needs Makhachev to go through some wars. He doesn't want that fight right now.
When also, like, bro, I think there's something intriguing to, like, the Gagey just won by head kick. Makhachev just won by head kick. They're similar heights. They're obviously going towards, like, similar game plans almost. Like,
and I think Gaethje can mimic a lot of what Volk was successful in doing and also has insanely good counter wrestling.
And also, Gagey's 5'11", right? He's not 5'6" or whatever. So,
right.
like, that head kick's going to be a little harder to land.
And
he has his own kicks.
More
like,
powerful, more savage.
Volk's good at about almost everything in MMA except for head kicks, right? Like, I don't think we've ever really seen Volk really have success with head kicks.
Leg kicks he's beautiful with. Head kicks, not so much.
So, like, Gagey can answer with the head kicks. Bigger body. I mean, I'll be real. I'm betting Makhachev if that fight gets made, but I'm here for the Gagey matchup.
Me too. Makhachev did get a performance bonus. Now, I also think, interestingly enough, we got to talk about Volk and where he's at because I don't like where he's at.
Real quick. The thing is, Makhachev has been only talking about welterweights. He really wants the winner of Colby.
Leon, but
Leon Scott.
But I'll push back because immediately after this fight, he said, "It's my time. Give him my chance. I want to fight the lightweights." Like, he directly said, "I want to beat these lightweights." Because now a lot of people are saying, like, "All right, you've beaten Oliveira and you've beaten a featherweight twice. You haven't defended your belt against a lightweight yet." He's starting to get that heat.
That's a weak narrative, in my opinion, because Volk's better than the rest of the lightweights. Like, I think Volk beats Gagey for a hot take.
Maybe. That's a fun fight. But I think, more importantly, I think it's right, though. I think it's the right take, honestly. Like, I hate when dudes try to jump divisions all. It's like McGregor didn't ever defend his lightweight belt, so he wasn't even a good lightweight champion. You know what I mean? Wasn't a good featherweight champion. Never defended that belt. He would win belts and not defend them. I think there's a big thing to be said.
He
defended it, but he lost it.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, he didn't defend it, you know what I mean? And it's like Makhachev said some bullshit this week leading up to about being the greatest champion of all time, whatever. John Jones commented to him and said, when you get 14 title defenses like I have, you can start to talk about it. Hey, bro, 14? Like, we're talking about shit that, like, dude, people are like,
They
oh,
never get broken.
right.
They never get broken.
And dog, the 14 defenses are against elite killers. So it's like, yeah, John Jones, best of all time. I think right now, while he's still fighting, people push back on that, and they want to say, like, the dominance level is the disparity. Hey, man, this dude's done it for 15 years.
Yeah, no, it's definitely John Jones. The only thing I'll give Islam the benefit of the doubt with is that lightweight is so stale and so full of old guys that keep losing.
I think Sarukian's going to be a tough opponent, or Gamrot. I think both those guys are tougher for Makhachev, just stylistically. I mean, hell, he went to split decision with Sarukian already.
But those guys are like, what, 2 fights away?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, Makhachev will defend this belt.
What's Islam supposed to do in the meantime? Like, I guess Gagey.
He's got it. You know, honestly, it's the best thing possible. He's going to clear out the top end, that old flock. None of them are going to beat him. He's going to retire them all, or they're going to move to different weights because they're going to realize we're not beating this guy. There's no point to hang around.
I'll say, like, in principle, I appreciate your point, and I kind of agree with it. As a guy who has to spend his $80 on pay-per-views,
I know.
Give me Colby and Leon. That's fucking sick, dog. Come on now. I in principle, as far as like the health of the lightweight division, like it's one of those things in theory versus in practice. In theory, I'm with you. When it comes to who I'd rather spend my $80 on, hey, it's a different answer.
Well, it's like I'd rather pay both times for the Volk fights than any lightweight fight that Makhachev's going to have or has had the chance to have, for sure. But it also is. But it's stagnating their division.
It talks. But I hate that whole narrative of, oh, he's not fighting lightweights. Like, hey, lightweights the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Oh, and I'm not saying that he's not fighting the best possible opponent, too. Like, I think that's a different question altogether. Like, is he fighting the toughest match? Yeah, he is. So, like,
he is. So fuck that lightweight narrative. You mid-ass fucking aging goddamn gatekeepers.
But like, I'm saying in the way Conor was guilty of this too. Like when you hold up a division that way, it just fucks the rest of the future for the next 2 years of the movement of the rankings. Like it fucks everything.
Hot take, I guess. I didn't think it was a hot take. It ain't Islam that's holding up the division. It's the contenders.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. It's tough in this situation because he was booked against the lightweight. They called a lightweight first to replace him, not Volkanovski. None of those guys can make the weight on 10 days, just like Islam couldn't.
It's crazy that Gagey walks around as a light heavyweight.
Yeah. Above middleweight, literally.
That's 4 weight classes above where he fights. Bro, I mean, I'll put whatever Gagey was in Usman's corner, which that's what we're getting to next, but like, he was debatably bigger than Usman, who was fighting at middleweight.
They look about the same size, which was wild.
Just like eye test wise, like 2 guys at a party standing next to each other, they look the same size.
You know what?
As far as Volk, though, like I'm stoked for the Topuria fight. That's what's cool about Volk's situation. He just lost 2 title fights in a row, and guess what? He's getting a 3rd title fight in a row. He's still the featherweight champ, baby, and he should be. I'm here for Volk Topuria. That's awesome. That's epic. It's cool that he kind of falls ass first into another title fight.
I'm concerned about Volk. And nothing to do with his fighting, everything to do with where he's at mentally as a person.
I was going to say age, too. 35 is no joke. That's a cutoff point.
For sure, but so in the post-fight, he talked about, I was begging the UFC to keep me busy. Like, I'm doing my head in when I don't have a fight. And he said that probably 3 times in that interview. And then in the post-fight interview with the media, he talked about, he got pretty emotional talking about the chance he had and how he felt like it was not going to happen again. And like that was the last chance he had for that. But then he also said, he was like, I have a wife and kids and like life's great, but like I just find myself in these weird spots where I'm just doing my head. And he was like, that's why I just need to stay active and stay in camp. And I was just thinking like, this guy might be in like a weird spot mentally where I don't know that fights are going to save him. Like, he might have to find, like, a passion outside of fighting.
You know what, bro? I'll push back and I'll personalize it a little bit, bro. I struggle with the same shit. Like, it actually was super relatable to me. I have a great wife. I have the biggest, nicest apartment I've ever had in years. I got the nicest car I've ever had in my life. I I have them weeks, bro, where I feel like a fucking loser, man. And hey, bro, like mental health is real, man. Like I'll go the other way, man. Like I have my good weeks, my bad weeks. I have a beautiful wife. I got an awesome dog. I got a sick ass apartment. I got a nice modern car. And there's weeks where I struggle with my mental health, man. Like I actually very much related to what Volk was saying, man.
Right,
Now,
but
granted, I don't got the 7-figure bank account that he got. That might change a few things, but like,
yeah, that's where
I
I'm
don't
at
know,
too. Is
bro.
like it's not a money thing for him. Like he's clearly lacking like some passion in his life. Like there's something that's missing, and he's saying that fighting fills the gap for him, which is all good. But hey, like you just said, 35, he might be realizing it too. There's going to come a time when it's not there, and I'm wondering if that's like if he's looking too long, and he's starting to like see the end.
Yeah, bro. Like I said, man, I relate to it, man. I mean that's the whole reason I skateboard. I'm trying to like fill the void that was left by football. I like football's a weird sport where you get that feeling at 22 or you got it at 18. You ain't never suiting up again.
Yeah, true.
And it's different people, are able to overcome that, affect it, whatever. I still, I mean, here I am almost 10 years removed from my football career, and I try my best to fill that void with skateboarding and this podcast and all sorts of things. And I still don't know if I've ever plugged that hole, dude. I'm not saying it's perfect. I see what your point is that like for a champion best to have that mindset. I'm just coming from it from a human level, dog. Of just like it be like that sometimes, man. It's a real thing, bro. It's not fun. It's not cool. It's not it's nothing to be proud of. That's for sure. But like mental health battle, and when you identify with a certain thing, and it's tough. Like even Volk, I think he's saying he struggles with like I'm still a top end fighter, but I fight 3 times a year. So that's what 362 days of the year where I'm not feeling
Yeah.
that itch. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't know, bro. Like I'm not trying to turn this into a therapy session, but dog, like I felt that. I felt that heavily. I related
Oh
on a
yeah.
human level.
Yeah, I fully understand where he's coming from, but my point is looking at it from a betting standpoint of like, do
Oh
I
yeah.
like that in the champion? Not so much.
Well, and then the age gap, Michael, the third Beefy boys are betting, what he consultant, if you will, loves that age gap statistic. And like Tapori is what, 26, 27, 28. Like he's
28,
almost
28.
he's almost 10 years younger than Volk. Like I still think Volk wins that fight. I'll probably put my money on Volk, but I'm undefeated, man. I feel you, man. But I guess we're kind of beating a dead horse here if you want to keep it pushing to the co-main.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. We got Khamzat Chimaev taking on late replacement Kamaru Usman at middleweight, respectively ranked 4-1 in welterweight, which is like mind-blowingly good matchup. It also seemed like Usman might have hurt his knee leading up to it. Now everyone kind of had their take on it, whether that was bullshit or not. My opinion is I don't think it changes the outcome of this fight. And I also think round by round, super important here.
Yeah, you're right, man. Because there's two ways to interpret it. We all saw the viral clip of Kamaru and his open workout with Gagey, and it appeared in the video where he said, "My knee popped." Gagey and Kamaru both refuted that. I don't know what's true, to be honest. I don't know because that it's not inconclusive what you hear on tape, right?
Right.
It sounds like he said that, but it's not crystal clear. But also engaging in Usman both refuted that he hurt his knee, but also like you alluded to at the start of the pod, Usman got a big bag for stepping up.
Right, so it's like, hey, even if you just have a bucket handle meniscus tear, like, step in that bitch. Like, it's a big bag we're talking about. You're already here. We can't pull this fight off the card. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's more of a bag.
Last big bags too, you could argue. Now he's no longer a champion. He's no longer getting those pay-per-view points.
And fighting at middleweight, what does he lose at welterweight? Nothing at all.
Yeah, bro. So all week I couldn't make up my mind if he was actually hurt and they were covering and saying the company line, or maybe it was just a big misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Like I mean, both are on the table.
Well,
but you're right.
Like I said to you over text too, like Usman's knees are terrible. Like for anyone that's in the fight community, you're aware that Usman has like no cartilage in his knees. Like it's just bone on bone. So like I said to you, even if it did pop, that's probably just running the course for that motherfucker. Like his knees are shot.
So I have a little meniscus damage in my knees, and every once in a while it'll catch.
Yeah.
And it's not fun, and it sucks. 10 minutes later, you're good to go. Like it's just
it just locks up.
Anybody out there that has a couple little hook tears in their meniscus that don't have health insurance, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You're good to go. Fucking 10 minutes later, it's just in that specific moment, and it does kind of pop. And Usman's knees are literally bone on bone. So I mean, both can't possibly be true, but I'll say that. Now that being said, man, I was high on Khamzat all week. I mean, we've been high on Khamzat since he debuted. We've been shoveling coal in that hype train for literally 3 years now. He's the much younger fighter. He's the bigger fighter.
He fits the weight class much more than Usman.
Training camp. I mean,
he lives in Abu Dhabi now as well.
Khamzat minus 355. I got him at minus 360. So shout out Caesars. But I agreed with it, bro. I went back and forth. Knee-jerk reaction when I saw the money line. Oh, that's way too big of a money line. Then I started thinking about it, and it was like, Khamzat's going to win this fight. So if you feel confident that a guy's going to win, too big of a money line? No, I threw him on a 3-legger parlay, which I'm your 2 for 3 champion of the world. So, I got this leg correct. Didn't catch a parlay because I don't do that. But 3 for 4 on your guy.
Yeah. But, you want to bet straights. I'll get you 3 out of 4 all day.
Genuinely, if you follow this podcast and you only bet straights, like we will make you money. Never follow our parlays.
Yeah. Parlays are just parlays are for juice. The picks are solid as shit. Like on verdict, you look stellar.
I do have no regrets on my picks or my power rankings or none of that. Just parlays are a motherfucker, bro. But if you're following this podcast and betting straight bets, we got you.
Now,
let's dive into the fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get into it because Khamzat, honestly, opens with bad shot, gets it done, though. Like, that just shows you how good his wrestling is he takes a bad low-level single, gets the ankle, and works his way all the way to the fence, chain wrestles it into a trip, and gets the takedown.
Bro, which DC always talks ad nauseum about the chain wrestling, about the shot and the reshot and the follow-up shot, and honestly, it starts to sound like just words when you're watching DC commentate like a prelim fighting with a low-level fighter.
Right, like a guy that can't do it. But when you see a guy that can do it and is primed to do it, and that is what he does, it's like, oh, shit, this is crazy. Like, you can't let him get a finger on you.
Because honestly, when DC's commentating a prelim fight with a low-level fighter, you're just almost like, this is just kind of lip service to try to make wrestling seem like the superior martial art.
It's ifs and buts.
Watch a guy like you watch Khamzat do it, and you're like, you're right. It is kind of that simple if you're good enough to do it.
Really is, man. And like I said, Khamzat, bad low-level single, barely gets the ankle, is able to drive his way on the low-level single all the way to the fence, work up to a high single, then to a body lock, then to a trip. I mean, it was really, really beautiful.
against Usman too. I think Usman had 97% takedown
Taken
defense.
down once by Edwards in his career, once.
He had gotten taken down once in his whole career. I think he got taken down 4 times in this fight.
Right,
So say
twice
what
in the
you
first
will
round.
about your scorecard or how you saw it or whatever, but that in and of itself is an insane kind of stat and the kind of no. I mean the obvious question. 10-8 in round one.
I for sure did. Yeah, I mean, it was 5 minutes of Khamzat completely controlling where the fight took place, with Usman not even able to throw a strike.
See, bro, I don't disagree with you. I went 10-9. There was not damage, and that is a factor in a 10-8. And, bro, I'm generous with my 10-8s. Anybody that watches this podcast know that some weeks I'm Oprah with the 10-8s. Everybody gets one. But the lack of damage and blood and there wasn't really submission attempts. I mean, there was a couple of rear naked choke attempts. I mean, it was. I had like a 10-9.1 on verdict. Like, I mean, I understand where you come from with the 10-8, but the lack of damage was tough, bro. And I'm a Khamzat mark.
I would agree with lack of damage, but it's also a contrast, right? So, like, Usman didn't. I think he landed 2 strikes. So it's like, all right, well, Khamzat landed like 27. Granted, they're terrible, like little ground strikes, but he also had 4 minutes, 45 seconds to control and had his back the whole time.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Like I said, I if it was verdict, I'd go like 10.91. Like it was like just on the other side. If you go 10-8-9, I'm not gonna call you a crazy person. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see what the judges did. The judges had it.
I think they all went 10-8.
Yeah, they all went 10-8.
Yeah, so fair enough. Fair play. You know, fair play. I just fair play. I'm more likely to give a 10-8 to a guy that gets a knockdown and loses 2 minutes of the round. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I try to weight them, like if it's damage, dominance, duration, I try to give them each like a third. And if like you max out 2/3 of 2 and you get like a third of the other, that's like 75% of the way there. I'll give that.
Fair. And some of those ground and pound shots were like pretty solid. You know what I mean?
There
was no blood. There was no blood and guts.
There was one elbow that was like, oh, that hurt bad. That was the one ground and pound shot where I was like, oh, that one sucked. Now, keeping a push in the second round, the fight gets a lot closer. And as we find out afterward, Khamzat breaks his wrist at some point in the first round. So keep in mind, rounds 2 and 3, he's fighting with a broken right hand.
Yeah, I thought round 2 was pretty weird, man. Khamzat got the big body kick at the start of the round that got a big reaction out of Usman. And then he got the takedown at the end of the round. Once again, not much damage. No sub attempts at all in round 2. And then Usman, you could argue, like, you know, won the first half of the round on the feet, but there was never any big moments. You can't argue he ever hurt Khamzat. He definitely didn't cause any visible damage, no knockdowns, no wobbles, anything like that. It was, you also can't say it was point fighting. It was kind of somewhere in between. I thought round 2 was a little murky.
Definitely thought it was murky.
One judge gave round 2 to Usman, but
2 judges
I leaned Khamzat kind of the classic sandwich scenario. He won the start of the round, the end of the round. You could argue Usman won the middle, but Usman didn't do any in the exchanges that Usman won. Nothing was ever like emphatic. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree with you, man. I scored it to Chimaev 10-9 as well in a really close round. Really close because neither guy was really landing anything dominant, but I thought once again, Khamzat got just enough control with like a close enough damage battle where his control outweighed Usman's throughout the entirety of the round, right? So start gets good damage, then the middle, Usman gets good damage, but really not any control. Khamzat ends the round in full control with not much damage. So I felt like damage, they're close, control, Khamzat wins. So, I mean, it's caveman math there. I gave it 10-9 to Khamzat. Now, that being said, 2 judges gave round 2 to Usman, so we have 19-18 on 2 judges' cards and 20-17 on 1 judge's card.
Yeah, man.
So essentially, though, if Usman can win the third convincingly on those two 19-18 cards, he can get the majority draw here. Like, this fight's still very much in play for Usman starting the third.
Yeah, especially with me giving Khamzat a 10-9 in round one. You know what I mean? On my scorecard, it was wide open. Granted, I had a 2018 Khamzat, but
well, I want to.
yeah.
Let me say something too before we break down the round. Two judges score this round to Usman as well. However, it's not the same two judges, which is why Khamzat wins.
Yeah, and actually, I was a kind of.
I scored the third to Usman.
I gave my round two breakdown as my round three breakdown. I read the wrong notes, but I mean, yeah. So I mean, Khamzat a takedown, 2 minutes of control, used the chain wrestling once again. But Usman kind of outstruck Khamzat the first half of the round, but once again never hurt him. In round two, actually, I thought Khamzat did have the best strikes of the round. That's the differentiate. I'll differentiate between my notes. I said I kind of fumbled that breakdown there. But in round two, I actually thought, I said this, if you give Kamaru any round of this fight, it's round two. And I'll put it, because I thought he did land the most impactful strikes of debatably the whole fight. Those 1-2s from Usman in round two were very effective, and Khamzat did not love them.
Oddly enough,
round three,
I thought I gave round three to Usman surprisingly, and not round two, only because I thought Usman finally balanced the control of the fight. Like, he was finally dictating that it was going to take place on the feet. I thought he was landing better combos, and I honestly thought Khamzat was kind of in survival mode there in the last 2 or 3 minutes. That's why he was forcing the wrestling.
I'll say, bro, Khamzat's chin is
it's granite.
Yeah, I don't want to say underrated because it's respected, but
he
landed clean.
You
can't, the same shots, the same punches that dropped Masvidal and Burns did not drop Khamzat.
And you can't tell they're hitting him that hard. That's the crazy part. He eats them and just kind of keeps that stoic. His face doesn't change, his head doesn't shoot off to his side. He eats them so well, Shane Burgos kind.
Yeah,
he disguises it, and you can't tell if you cracked him or not.
Same thing that Usman hit Masvidal with, the same thing that Masvidal hit Burns with. It just didn't affect Khamzat the same way. Usman did what he wanted to do. You could argue, it just didn't work.
Fully agree. Now, I think what's interesting here, like I was saying, is that
I go 30-27 Khamzat. I don't think any judge agrees with me.
No, and but two judges have 29-27, which is close. I have 29-27, same as Vito Paolo. Derek clearly has 29-27, but has 2 and 3 flipped from my card. And then David Letheby, who has it a draw, scored 2 and 3 to Usman and 10-8 in the first. So it's almost if any judge gives a 10-9, and there's any sort of maybe 1 or 2 better shots from Usman in the second or third where he could tilt one more judge in his favor, very well could get a draw or a win in this fight. The fight was very close.
Usman just never had that moment.
Never. Let me ask you this: from a 1 FC and maybe not 1 FC, but from a overall fight perspective, 15 minutes, I think Khamzat definitely won the 15 minutes.
Yeah, bro. And Bisping was saying that Usman should have won, and I feel you. There's a path to lawyer ball your way to a Usman 29-28, but he never had Khamzat hurt. I don't even think he ever cut Khamzat. He never wobbled Khamzat. He never dropped Khamzat. He never took Khamzat down.
And, man, to lawyer ball the 29-28 for Usman, you got to lawyer ball not a 10-8 first. You got to lawyer ball the second to him, and you got to lawyer ball the third to him. You got to lawyer ball every round for him to get this. That's too much lawyer balling.
You're full-blown Johnny Cochran there.
Yeah, bro.
And Khamzat, no. The fallout from this, right? What happens next? The debate is, does he get a title shot, or does he have to fight Paulo still, or does he fight DDP? These are kind of Twitter debates that are happening right now. I personally, it's kind of a cop-out politician answer. You kind of can't go wrong. Because Khamzat DDP is an arena fight night in any city in the world.
100%.
Literally, they could sell out an arena in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in the Middle East, South America even. I mean, bro, you could headline a fight night in an arena anywhere in the globe with Khamzat DDP.
I also think, and this is going to sound crazy, I think Strickland should defend against Cannonier for his first one because he has the recent loss split decision to Cannonier that was a very close fight that he was like on Twitter ranting about how he felt like he won. So I think that's a more sensible first defense for him. And then I think Khamzat DDP, like you're saying, sells an arena out. Let's get that money. And it doesn't matter who fights out of those four because that's just a fun middleweight belt at that point. So let's like squeeze all the money out of the best matchups in the first cycle and let it play out as it does. Because I do think Chimaev needs one more test, and it needs to be against a guy that has to cut to 85. Not a guy that's coming up, but a guy that is a 230-pound man making 185. That's what I want to see Khamzat deal with.
That's Paulo Costa, right?
It's Vettori, it's Costa, it's Cannonier, it's DDP. All four of those guys are huge and cut down to the weight.
Here's the thing where you gotta, like, it sucks, and you could argue it's not a meritocracy, but business comes into play, bro. Like Strickland Cannonier is not what the UFC wants to sell pay-per-views. Like, straight up, that'll be a dud of a pay-per-view. Not for me. I buy them all. But, like, bro, nobody's going to your local Hooters to watch Strickland Cannonier 2. I'll just put it that way.
Easy solution. You put Yuri and Poetan as the main event because they're bigger weight, so they automatically are main event.
Co-main
Strickland.
You give Strickland the Shevchenko treatment?
100%. I think Strickland sells, but Cannonier doesn't. So in this case, we co-main him, and hopefully he wins. And then Chimaev Strickland is literally Russia versus America. It's tremendous.
I think Strickland DDP could headline. I think Strickland Khamzat could headline. That's where you run into it, like the meritocracy versus the business. You know what I mean?
Well, I think there's a very interesting question here as far as the business goes, too, of Khamzat has visa issues and can't really get into America to fight very easily, and you're not going to make
Dana
Strickland...
swears that he doesn't.
Who
cares?
Okay, well, Dana can say whatever he wants, but we see that Strickland, why would he go defend in someone else's home country? Like, that doesn't make sense. So, like, that's kind of where I'm at is you kind of got to figure out how Khamzat's...
Abu Dhabi till next October, though. So you can
Strickland ain't doing that.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. But there's fucking 11 pay-per-views between now and the next Abu Dhabi card.
Right, so Strickland needs to probably defend in America. And, like, can Khamzat make it over? And if he can't, well, then we gotta figure out how we get him to fight in Canada or something. You know what I mean? Uh-oh. Might have lost D-Mac. Might have lost him. He'll be back. I'm back. I'm back, motherfuckers. I'm back. But yeah, bro, I mean, in a way, it's a four-man Grand Prix, right? You kind of can't go wrong. It's Khamzat, DDP, Cannonier, and Strickland.
And Strickland. The fucking champ. It's crazy that he was last on my list. It's really crazy. Dude, I mean, and then as far as Usman goes, bro, I mean, if Colby wins the belt, you could do Usman Colby 3. You could. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying you could. You can't do Leon Usman. So if Leon wins, that's a wrap.
If Ian Gary shows out in his next fight, can we give? Oh, what about Rakhmonov Usman?
Well, Usman for a minute.
Huh?
Usman's been ducking Rakhmonov.
Well, now he doesn't really have the choice.
You're right.
As a UFC businessman, like, this is when that fight happens, because what are you going to stand on, Usman? You lost 3 in a row, my boy.
I agree. I would love that. That's the fight I've wanted all along.
Me too.
All along. And check the record. Check the tape. I've been calling for Usman Shavkat for fucking 6 months now.
And to be fair to Usman, with as well as he did against Chimaev, I think he has a very good chance in the fight against Shavkat. Like, I think it's a close fight.
I don't know, bro. Because Shavkat, I have a hot take. Shavkat is way better striking than Khamzat. Way better.
Not a hot take. That's for sure true. Technically, I don't know if he's as fast, but he's definitely more technical.
So, I mean, that's the only place where Usman was at beating Khamzat.
Yeah, but I don't know that Rakhmonov is going to be able to wrestle Usman the same way that Chimaev did because he's not as big. See what I'm saying? Like, when the size difference comes down, I don't know.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Shavkat's tall.
He's
not maybe,
but not.
He's maybe not as muscle bound. Yeah, he's not as muscular.
Yeah, I wonder about it. I do. I think it's a close fight.
I'm gonna go piss real quick, and then we're gonna talk about this fucking dumpster fire of a light heavyweight matchup.
All right, I'm gonna grab a beer while you do it as well. Be right back, folks. 45 seconds till we talk about a fire of a light heavyweight match. Dumpster fire, that is.
I'm back first. What a champ. You ain't first, you last.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're ready. Had to go snipe some hits.
Yeah, bro.
Snipe some hits off Ali's blunt. It was a good timing.
Oh, that's clutch. I would kill for that. Dude, that's the one down thing, bro. My dog has been having some heart and lung issues, so I can't smoke inside anymore. I miss smoke. I miss smoking some doobage on the pod, but it's all right. It's all good. But man, bro, we got just an absolute nightmare of a light heavyweight matchup that was supposed to be essentially a #1 contenders match.
I think,
and it is not.
I think good matchup. Just the way it plays out is just, man, it fucking sucks. And like, I mean, we can get into it. It's Johnny Walker, #7, Magomed Ankalaev, #2. What are the odds here? Walker is like plus 200, I believe, something like that.
Plus 280.
Oh,
plus
yeah.
285, which I thought was too rich. Like, I didn't, because Ankalaev coming off the draw with Blachowicz, Ankalaev has shown a consistent lack of a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
That's some coach speak terms that I will throw out. Every coach, anybody who's ever played a sport, anybody who's ever had a strict boss in the workplace, the term sense of urgency will be thrown out. Very real thing in life, right? Like, how fucking are we busting our ass to fucking accomplish that goal? Whether that's in a warehouse or in a training session or in a football practice, sense of urgency. If you've been in those high pressure situations, you've heard that term. And like, when you watch Ankalaev, I mean, there's no difference between a Saturday night main event and a fucking, Tuesday sparring session. It seems like, seemingly, right?
Yeah, and then when you watch Johnny Walker, it's balls to the wall. It's just sandbagging to throw a flying knee up the middle, which he actually does in this fight. I mean, yeah, it's the living highlight versus a guy that's just going to try to outpoint fight you the whole fight. So weird matchup, and it's like, can Johnny Walker
light
force?
Heavyweight is weird. Like, can you point fight your way to a light heavyweight title? I have my doubts. Like, that's a division full of, like, I mean, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska. I mean, that's a division of finishers.
Well,
that's the same reason why we don't like Rockage. Right? Like, decision machines in light heavyweight, seems to be like an oxymoron, right? Like maybe in bantamweight, maybe in featherweight, but the decision machine at light heavyweight just seems like not the recipe.
Well, I mean, you just said it. It's clearly not because Jamal Hill got a fire KO and essentially got the shot against Glover to be the interim when Ankalaev put on a snoozy fight against Blachowicz. That was for the belt, but was a draw. So they were like, well, next up. And it's like, why has Ankalaev not gotten that shot? Because he's snoozy and point fight and boring. And when you got guys doing these flashy KOs like Poatan, well, not even Poatan, but essentially beating Blachowicz when Ankalaev couldn't, it's like, well, if he did it and you couldn't, then that guy's up. Like, Ankalaev has put himself in the position of he's going to have to win like 3 fights in a row or get a flashy finish. But I don't think he's going to do that. He doesn't push hard for finishes.
Damn, and I'll be real, bro. Like, call me an idiot, but I'm just now making this kind of like intersection of those 2 points in my mind. Like, this fight ends on a no contest illegal blow. Do you think that was Ankalaev like trying to get the finish by any means necessary? Because he talked about a little bit on his lead up about how he needs to be more of a personality, blah blah blah. I don't think personality has anything to do with it, but just don't point fight. Do you think that was kind of the impetus? I mean, I'm busting out the vocabulary here. The impetus for the illegal blow, like just the desperation for a highlight?
I could see it because, like, when you think about how the fight was playing out, kind of back and forth, he gets to the back, gets pressed up where he's halfway on Walker's back, halfway not along the fence. Johnny Walker clearly knee down, like he's on weight on his shin. His knee is so hard down. You know what I'm saying? Like he's resting on the leg.
Not playing the game.
No, like he's like down,
clear.
like he's like weight to the fence, like not even trying to stand at that point, really. Which is like if you're playing the game, you're like halfway standing. He's literally like full weight down on his leg, leaning on the fence, right? So it's not even a question. And then Ankalaev just throws a crazy knee to the head, and I mean lands it saucy, beautiful knee. Right on the chin, but like, yeah, clearly illegal. They stopped the fight. Now, here's my problem is like, maybe subconsciously that's what Ankalaev thought. That was an intentional strike. He meant to throw that knee. It wasn't like the knee came up and caught Walker on the jaw. It was like, I'm throwing a knee at your head. I connected this knee. Oh, your knee is down. That was illegal.
1,000% agree, bro. And Chael made a good point about how the ref tried to deflect the responsibility onto the doctor.
Right, but he should have just disqualified Ankalaev for their illegal blow that forced the fighter to be unable to fight.
Because the doctor fucked up.
The doctor was terrible all night long.
Never been in the position to have it in his hands if the ref had any cojones. You know what I mean?
Well, the doctor is the one that'll say the fighter can't continue, but the ref gets to decide no contest or disqualification if he rules the strike illegal or if he rules the strike incidental or purposeful. So the ref essentially still took the pussy card by saying that was an incidental knee. Uh-oh, D-Mac's a little frozen. But yeah, it's like, and I mean...
I'm back.
Yeah, and the doctor's question of, like, where are we fighting? I wouldn't know to say UAE or United Arab Emirates in a fight if I had just flown there. Like, to his credit, he says we're in the desert. Like, he lives in the jungle. He knows he's in the desert. He's at least aware of his general location.
Well, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that English is the doctor's first language or Johnny Walker's first language. Which
the doctor sounded like he spoke English pretty well. When he told Victor Henry you didn't get kicked in the balls and he used the term balls, sounded pretty American. Oh, yeah.
Definitely English is not his first language.
What's that?
Walker's first language is not English.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And why would you not bring in a translator? It makes no sense. Now, that all being said, Johnny Walker looked like he was pretty fucked up, but if you give him the full 5 minutes, I think he'd have been just fine to continue.
But see, I think that's also a misunderstanding. 5 minutes isn't allowed. Like, like nut shots and eye pokes. Remember, they just changed the eye poke rule for 5 minutes. I don't believe it's an official rule for 5 minutes on an illegal strike.
Well, but that's what a below the belt would be, was an illegal strike. Man, keep losing Dominic. So this is a tough 5-minute window, people. Stick with us. We'll get through
it. For sure. And my back, I'm just saying, like, I don't believe it's officially in the rule book to give 5 minutes in this scenario, which it should be.
Fully agree. Now, that all being said, I think the result of the fight is still wrong. I think Ankalaev should be DQ'd for a purposeful illegal strike.
I agree, and I think everybody agrees. The MMA community never agrees on anything. I didn't read a single article, watch a podcast, see a hot take. Nobody was agreeing with this, bro. Everybody was in unanimous that there should have been a DQ. And MMA fans hate DQs, but this was the textbook definition of a DQ.
Yeah, I don't see how it's not. Like, if Peter Yan loses the belt to Aljo DQ, and Aljo's playing games, and Johnny Walker's still trying to fight, but they're telling him he can't, has to be a DQ.
This was way worse than the Aljo one, right? So, like, the precedent's already been set from, like, a legal standpoint.
In a bout with higher stakes, no less.
Could not agree more, bro. Like, I literally didn't see a single tweet supporting Ankalaev. Not a single one. Not from a Russian account, not from a Muslim account. Nobody sided with Ankalaev. Nobody.
Well, that also has to do with him having just, piss poor, like, showing as far as fan base. Like, he's not flashy, he doesn't collect fans, so really has no one to really, be a stand for him on Twitter.
But, like, I was confused, bro. Like, you mentioned we watched every single fight. We're 151 cards deep, every single fight. I did not know why this wasn't a DQ. Like, I felt like it casual. Like, I did not understand what was happening. I thought I understood the rule book, and I apparently did not. Or maybe they did not. All night. It had me fucked up all night. I couldn't even really enjoy the main event or the card. I was still thinking about it. I was still, like that was a DQ, like 10 times out of 10 times.
Yeah, if you're the UFC, I'd probably move on and book Ankalaev against someone lower and give Johnny Walker. Well, hell, it's against number 2. I guess you run it back.
Kind of got to, right? You kind of got to.
Yeah.
Who's 3? Who's 3? Rakic?
Let's see, I got it right here. Poetan's 3. Yuri's 1, technically until they fight, so really champion in 2. So behind him is Blachowicz. That's not great. Rakic is down below that, then Krylov, then Walker. Ankalaev's like his best case.
I almost wonder if you punish Ankalaev, like make Ankalaev fight fucking Krylov or something.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that a punishment? Because Johnny Walker's 7 and Krylov's 6.
Walker got hosed, dude.
I'm saying.
If you know anything about this podcast, we are not a pro Johnny Walker podcast.
No.
We have been pretty harsh on Johnny Walker. There's no argument for Ankalaev. He fumbled the fucking Blachowicz bag. He fumbled this. He cheated, right? It's not even a fumble. You got to run it back. I guess you got to run it back. I guess you're doing Jamal Hill, right? It seems like we're waiting for that. They're holding out for that.
Well, Alex Pereira could win.
Oh, Pereira, you're right. They booked Pereira Prohaska.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That gets me 6 to midnight.
And then you already know the winner fights Jamal Hill, so the winner, like, you don't even have to talk about what they're gonna do because they already have it booked. So it's like, that's what I'm saying for for Johnny Walker. Uncle Ab's the best case fight he can get, and it sucks that he doesn't get the DQ win here because he earned it technically, but they just got to run it back.
They got to run it back, dude. And then Rakic is just on fucking third base holding the catcher's mitt. You know what
fuck
I mean?
Rakic.
Fuck Rakic. I feel you. I'm not a Rakic guy. So unfortunate. It's just like it's blue balls, right? Like there's just no resolution. There's no feel good. There's no even anticipation, really, because you can't say we're going to be stoked for Walker Ankalaev too.
I wasn't stoked for either of these guys, if I'm being honest with you. I don't give a fuck about either of these guys.
I was.
As a fan, I don't care about either of these guys.
That's because you're a Prohaska nut gobbler.
Well, I'm just saying that Ankalaev's boring, and Johnny Walker's not beating the top 3 guys we just named. He's just simply not. So this fight, to me, is just like, all right, here's a fight.
Right, because the only guy...
There's no implication that matters.
Hill finished him.
Right.
So,
right. That's why I'm like, all right, like these guys can battle for top 5. I don't give a shit about it.
Right. And if light heavyweight was a deeper division, like light heavyweight's the only division without young lions.
That's exactly right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, all right, like it's like Anthony Smith, like, all right, whoever you fight, I don't care.
Dude, I want to disagree with you, but like I can't.
Yeah, like heavyweight outside the top 3 sucks. Yeah, let's definitely keep pushing because this is the guy I most want to talk about on the whole fucking main card, and mostly because yeah, I have him ranked 13 in middleweight in my personal rankings, and that looks like fire in this breakdown. Ikram Aliskerov is a dog. That's a name people need to start knowing.
I agree with all those takes. Who did Ikram beat in his debut? Because he's only 2-0 in the UFC. This is the weird juxtaposition we're in with Ikram. He's 2-0, I believe, against two cans, if I'm not mistaken.
Looking it up.
I mean, Worley Alves isn't like a can level tier, but
agreed.
Can is.
But okay, so his Dana White Contender Series fight. Chokes out a guy in 2 minutes 9 seconds. Debut against Phil Hawes KOs him in 2 minutes 10 seconds.
Phil Hawes.
All right, but then Worley Alves KOs him in 2 minutes 7 seconds. He's finishing everyone in 2 minutes. So it's like even if they're not good, he's doing exactly what you should plus some.
Khamzat-esque, right? Just like Khamzat did to Mearshart and Riz McKee.
Yeah, just abusing guys.
You were still able to tell, right? Like it's not a tapology kind of tell. It's a eye test kind of tell, right?
It's the power he punches with, dog. Like, he dropped Phil Hawes with a hook, and it was like Phil Hawes was dead on the floor. He rocked Worley Alves with a jab. Like, the dude must hit so hard. You know the crazy thing is, I'm like trying to talk myself down. I'm trying to talk myself off of the fucking Ikram Aliskerov fucking double ski. Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it. Get my ski poles. I'm on it.
Bro, it's hard, because I'm trying to, talk myself out of it. Because it shouldn't be this easy. There has to be some kind of catch. Or
he's legit.
Hemi Turner.
Exactly.
He's fucking Hemi Neutron. He's fucking... bro, he's him like Bam Margera's favorite band, bro. He's fucking...
Bro, people must have amnesia because they forgot he's him.
Yeah, I guess he is. But fuck, I kind of don't want him to be. Maybe I'm hating, bro. He's... Neutron.
That's what I'm saying. Where do you have him at in your rankings? Did you hold him up highly or no?
I tried not to, bro. I haven't updated my rankings since the card, and I have my laptop closed right now. But I had him low. Not crazy low. I think I had him 25, 20. Because he had one win over a nobody. So, I didn't want to, get over my skis. I didn't want to over-shovel the hype train. real, bro. It's real. When I update my rankings, I mean, he might be. I mean, he definitely is top 15.
I had him just above Chris Curtis and right behind Kelvin Gastelum.
I mean, he's definitely, bro. He starts as Chris Curtis, bro.
That's what I'm saying, and I had him there before this fight.
Fluffy? What about Fluffy?
He will starch Fluffy.
In though, like that's what I'm saying. Let's have fun here.
I think honestly,
there's nothing to break down in the fight, bro. It's hot knife through butter. I mean, a 2-minute and 7-second knockout. He knocked him down with a jab. As soon as he got back to his feet, landed the flying switch knee, and then just a barrage of hooks. I mean, he's getting the style points. Where realistically, where does the hype train end in your power rankings? Like, real talk. Because I know you want to go higher, but you're trying to be like realistic here. You're trying to make him earn it. Like, you're trying not to get over your skis. But like, where realistically in the middleweight rankings, like, where does it end? Like, where does it
end? I don't know. Right now, probably 12. Now I got to see if the power is going to translate to those guys.
Who's 12?
By my rankings or the UFC's?
Yeah, fuck the UFC.
I agree with that. Nasruddin Imavov.
Oh, bro! Like I'm hammering the Ikram. I'm hammering the Ikram.
Okay, man. Right. Now hear me out. There's other guys that he's gonna have to go through, like Kyle Borralho or like Bo Nickel. Obviously, is still there as well. Same level, probably better already. But like, do I think that like Dolidze and Aliskerov's an absolute banger in a war? Yeah, love that fight. Do I think Hermansson's a war? Yeah.
Give me Ikram. Give me Ikram still.
Well, those are 7 and 8. Like Vittori's 6.
I know. I'm gargling hard here, bro. Like, bro, give me Ikram over Vittori.
How about Costa?
Never done.
All right. What about? Hold on, we're getting there. What about? I mean, shit, man. If we say, we lost him. I'm just wondering when the audio is going to cut. There it is. Still not back, but... Oh, man. This one doesn't seem good, folks. Yeah, suffice to say, Aliskerov, absolute monster. DMAC goes on 14-minute rants with no Wi-Fi, so that makes no sense. But hey, we're getting it done.
Back?
Yeah, there he is.
Fucking back, bro. Give me Ikram over Dolidze, dog.
How about Pasta? How about Paulo Costa?
That's where I cut my line off at.
Well, that'd be 6 in middleweight right now, so that's... But I'm saying, I'm with you.
10. He's top 10, right?
I had him at 13 going into this fight. He'll be in my top 10 come when I update this middleweight.
He hasn't beat anybody, though. There's a juxtaposition. But that eye test, it ain't nothing.
His
that
power.
Eye test is something.
Because I've seen Phil Hawes get hit, and I've seen Phil Hawes fight Imavov in a very close fight, for instance, as far as like who's number 12 and why I think that. So I'm just saying, like, Aliskerov, faster, scarier, more dangerous. Like, I think he finishes Imavov. So for me, it's like, well, he's definitely top 10 then. Like Brendan Allen, I think Brendan Allen gets abused by this guy.
Me too.
And Brendan Allen's number 9.
I agree, bro. I agree.
Aliskerov hype train is started. Pack your fucking bags. Me and DMAC will be in the engineer's room shoveling the coal. Just hop on.
I mean, seriously, 2-minute, 7-second knockout. But, like, it's almost like because Warley Alves is good enough. Matters, right? He's not a Reese McKee. Like, Warley Alves is He has had some good legit UFC wins. He's had some win streaks.
Well, and he and Phil Hawes both have a good chin, like solid chin. Like so, it's almost like you'd think like, okay, yeah, this guy's powerful, but like we're gonna give you someone that can absorb shots well, and he's still just flatlining him. So it's like, all right, he might have the touch of death.
Does, dog, for real. And then we'll keep it pushing to Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Moin Gafarov if you're down.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, great fight on paper. I had Gafarov pretty close. Let me see exactly where I had old Gaffy.
See, I had Gafarov pretty low because he's 0-2.
Yeah, I had him at 45.
Saeed's right outside the top 15. So if you look at it like, even if Saeed's 20, taking on 45, this was actually my lock of the week, basically. Like, I took him on a parlay at minus 260.
Yeah, honestly, good take, too. Like, looking at my rankings, like, yeah, I have Saeed at 18. It's like, yeah, this should pretty much be a lock. And at 285, the value is not lost.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, bro. And, like, Saeed is not a world beater. He is better than, like, 70-80% of bantamweights.
And I didn't consider it, but stylistically, like, Gafarov likes to, like, kind of clinch wrestle. Well, we get guillotine clinch wrestling. So, and Nurmagomedov has a disgusting guillotine. Disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, it was on Gafarov's first shot.
Right.
Saeed is known as a kickboxer.
I know.
Like, you may hear the last name Nurmagomedov and expect some double legs, but he's a striker. But he's a striker with a nasty gilly. And, bro, like, it's crazy because we typically are not fans of fighters that defend takedowns with guillotines. But Saeed, man, he makes it work because this isn't a one-trick pony. This isn't a fluke. He's done this before.
Yeah, no, I mean, to Cody Stamen, he got the 47-second guillotine, and then he got the sub over Kakramanov back in 2022. Which, shout out to Kakramanov, he's hilarious on Twitter. And then had the unanimous decision loss to Jonathan Martinez, but in hindsight, it's not the worst loss.
That's aging well.
And so, yeah, I mean, against Gafarov, it's a guy that wants to try to strike with you, that is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Sambo grappling like specialist. Like, he's not really a striker. So I guess it was more of a striker versus grappler matchup, but when the striker has an insane guillotine, it becomes a lot more dangerous for that grappler.
And it's crazy how he locked it up too, because what I liked about it, and we just talked about how we're not usually fans of fighters that jump gillies and defend takedowns. He, like, locked it in. Like, so many of these fighters, one arm and then fall to their back and think they're going to get a guillotine. He had the full arm behind the head before he gave up the position.
And he never actually, if you look at it, he never leaves his feet. He just squats and drops his weight down over the back of the neck. It's like, oh, it's perfect. And you could see how tight it was, dog. Gafarov tapped in like 2 seconds and was asleep in 3.
Yeah, bro, how often do you see a guy tap? He released it before the ref even stopped the fight, and Gafarov still went out, bro. Right. Like,
it was tight.
Basically, best guillotine in the division?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's disgusting. And he has long arms, so he gets it, and whenever he laces it, you can see his, like, hand come out the other side to grab his far arm, and then he locks it over the top, and it just sits his forearms down in the back of your neck while he's squeezing you from the bottom. It's like, oh.
He never pulled guard.
No.
He never pulled guard.
He doesn't have to. And in fact, he gets more pressure by sitting his weight over the top and forcing your head like to look like that and give more of your neck.
It's like an MMA guillotine, not a jiu-jitsu guillotine.
Right, because he's like, why would I go to my back whenever I can do this in a squat?
I mean, bro, it was a beautiful, like, we have spent many a fucking hour, a minute talking shit about guys who jump gilly to defend takedowns. This was not that. Like,
he's stuffing the shot with his arms first. That's why he gets him laced so deep, is because he's going shoulder to shoulder and then cranking his arm up through. once he establishes
And
that
he-
you're not getting the takedown.
And bro, he gets the arm so far across
So deep.
before
He literally gets his shoulder on their shoulder and then wraps it. So it's like his bicep is on their neck at very first.
Bro, like, yeah, this is one of my locks of the week, and shout out to Saeed for not making me look like a dipshit because, I mean, bro, Saeed, bro, he's one of those any given Saturday kind of guys. Like, I'm not saying he's a world beater, but on any given Saturday, like, position presents itself, he gets a win. Like, he's dangerous, bro.
Who do you like? Who do you like next for him?
Let me get my laptop fired up real quick because I haven't updated my rankings, but it'll still be relevant for this conversation.
I was thinking someone like maybe Kyler Phillips or one of the Basharat bros, like Farid, not Javed.
You know what's funny is I have Kyler Phillips ranked pre-update. I have Kyler Phillips right above Saeed, so that makes a lot of sense in my rankings. Bro, Heroes or Pedro Munoz makes sense too. I think Ricky Simon has a fight book, and he's not going to get a Rob Font. Heroes makes a lot of sense too, especially because he lost to Martinez, so there's like the little narrative kind of tie in there. Gutierrez is like the least talented of the two we talked about on last week. Gutierrez, they haven't fought. Yeah, they haven't fought. Yeah, I don't believe they have. Chris Gutierrez, Saeed makes a lot of sense in my book. You could do Kyler Phillips, but I think Chris Gutierrez like kind of is a little bit bigger of a fight.
Yeah, Taylor Lapalus would be fun if you want to like try to build Lapalus and really see where he's at. Just striker versus striker. Although I think that definitely be in Saeed's favor, and I don't know. I think you probably give Saeed a challenging fight here, where maybe he's not the favorite necessarily, but is a close line. And with that respect to that, it's got to be close to a top 15, if not a top 15.
Yeah, because I have Gutierrez at 15 right now, so like we're saying the same thing. And that's pre-update, like I said, pre-update. But also, we'll get to it, man. We'll get to it tomorrow, I guess. But like, Basharat, man, you could do that matchup. You could. I don't think it necessarily is like a big fight, but you could do it.
Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, I wondered. I thought Farid Basharat might be better just because we haven't seen him, and Javed obviously probably needs to run his fight back. Well, like we'll get to it tomorrow, but
yeah, no, fair play. And then there's Yanez, who I have below Saeed even before the rankings, but would be a decent enough name and a very winnable fight for Saeed. Super winnable
winnable.
If you're trying to like feed him, you maybe give him Yanez, you know what I'm saying? But for real, if I'm bro, shout out to that guy too. Kicking myself in the ass for not entering that contest. The guy who won the matchmaker contest and is now an actual 1099 employee of the UFC.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. No.
The matchmaker for a day contest did such a good job and impressed Dana White with his knowledge of the roster so much. He's like an actual matchmaker now.
Oh, wow, I should have taken that way more seriously.
No, me too, bro. I'm kicking myself in the ass. I'm not hating. Shout out.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Living the goddamn wet dream. Could have been us, dog. That could have been us. That guy doesn't know more than us, bro. I'll put my fucking left nut that he doesn't know more than us. But yeah, bro. So shout out to that dude. But that being said, Saeed or Magomedov, there's a lot you could do with them. You could give him Gutierrez, you could give him Kyler Phillips, you can give him Mario Bautista, you give him Montel Jackson, Farid Basharat, Adrian Yanez. That level of fighter, I think he needs one more win, and then he's busting into that, top 10, top 15 echelon.
100%.
Because, like, for example, he lost to Jonathan Martinez. I have Jonathan Martinez ranked 10 in my power rankings. So that's no shame,
Yeah, I think he needs one more and then a top 15 showing for him if he gets a win there.
For sure, man. That wraps up the main card, don't it?
Yes, sir, it does. We will catch you guys tomorrow for the prelims. But don't forget to like and subscribe, damn it.
Like and subscribe. We're up to like in the 160s now. We've had a few new subscribers. Shout out to y'all. Check us out on X/Twitter at Beefy Breakdown. Love to engage with y'all on there and leave some comments if you agree or disagree with any of our takes. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at approximately what, 8:39 West Coast.
Yes, sir. Something similar to tonight.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, man. Fun card. Unbelievable fallout. I mean, the Walker Ankalaev fight was such a fucking blue baller. Ikram shoveling all the coal. Khamzat. I think a lot of people hold Khamzat to such a standard that, like, getting a unanimous decision over, or I guess
Majority
decision, which kind of feeds into the narrative, which I think is fugazi.
He just, like, he continually gets humanized in these last few fights, which, like, I don't know, man. I think it's hard to live up to the narrative that was set before him, if that makes sense. Like, to be the wolf that was expected, it's like he had to run through everyone, including the champions, and it's like, when does that ever happen? Never.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, bro. Who runs through, like, even name somebody who runs through champions? Like, it doesn't really exist. Like, that's kind of fugazi. Like,
right.
You run through lower level guys and contenders, but you don't run through champions.
Even
that doesn't really exist.
Even top 5 guys I don't see get ran through. Like, they might lose like a close fight, almost like Usman did, but you're not going to run through them.
I mean, I guess John Jones, right? If we're being honest,
it's like, the only guy that just hot knives through butter through other legends. Like, it's insane.
I mean, even like Leon Edwards, I think is 4 in pound for pound, and I mean, he didn't run through Usman by.
I mean, I guess as far as like, I guess as far as like the weight they fight at, like, you could argue that Makhachev kind of has ran through everyone, but man, I don't know. John Jones is just different.
And I'll say, like, at 45, Volk runs through everybody.
Agreed. But also, on his run up to it, he didn't necessarily. Like, the very first Max Holloway fight was insanely close. He just got better than him through time.
He lost.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll wrap this up, and we'll put a bow on it. I can't wait for Volk.
Topuria.
Topuria. The fucking dude. Give me Khamzat Strickland. Fuck it. Doesn't need to make sense. Just give it to me.
He's back.
We'll wrap it up.
All right. Yeah.
Give me Khamzat Strickland. We'll wrap it up, man. But
yeah, let's end this.